Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. FastPass Plus is a free system at Walt Disney World where you can book FastPasses in advance to skip the line for 3 attractions at Walt Disney World. Today we're going to go over some of the basics of the FastPass Plus system. Here's some basics to know about the FastPass Plus system. Okay, 1. You can make 3 FastPasses in advance before your trip per day that you'll be in the parks. 2. All 3 of your advanced FastPasses have to be in the same park, so you can't make one at Magic Kingdom and the other 2 at EPCOT. All 3 are going to need to be in one park. 3. Your booking window. In order to make FastPass Plus reservations, you're going to need to have a valid ticket linked to your account. From there, your booking window varies depending on where you're staying. If you're staying on property and you've linked that reservation to your My Disney Experience account, then you'll be able to book your FastPasses 60 days in advance of your arrival date starting at 7 a.m. Walt Disney World time or Eastern time. Additionally, that booking window is extended for the first 10 days of your trip. For example, if your arrival date is December 1st, 60 days before that is October 2nd. So October 2nd at 7 a.m. Walt Disney World time, you'll be able to make 3 FastPasses per day for the first 10 days of your trip. This 60-day FastPass booking window applies to all Walt Disney World owned and operated hotels and resorts, as well as Shades of Green, the Swan, the Dolphin, the Four Seasons, and on a yearly basis, it has been applying to the official Disney Springs Areas Resorts hotels, which you can find at DisneySpringsHotels.com. Furthermore, if you're staying club level at a Walt Disney World owned and operated resort and choose to pay an additional fee, you can actually start booking your FastPasses 90 days in advance instead of 60. We're not going to get into the details of that in this video because it doesn't apply to a vast majority of people, but know that if you really want to snag all of the perfect FastPasses, there is a way to pay to play. If you aren't staying on property, your booking window will open 30 days in advance, and you won't get that bonus of being able to book FastPasses for the first 10 days of your trip. For example, if your arrival day is December 1st, then 30 days before that, which is November 1st, at 7 a.m. Walt Disney World time, you'll be able to book your FastPasses for the first day of your trip, December 1st. And then for your FastPasses on December 2nd, you'll have to repeat this process all over again the following day on November 2nd. And you'll repeat this process for every day of your trip that you want advanced FastPasses for. 4. FastPass is a tiered system in 3 of the Walt Disney World parks, but not in the Magic Kingdom. So for the Magic Kingdom, you'll just be able to book any 3 rides that offer FastPass. However, in EPCOT, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios, rides are split up into Tier 1 and Tier 2. And then for your advanced FastPasses, you'll only be allowed to book 1 in the Tier 1 rides. In EPCOT, Tier 1 is Soarin', Frozen Ever After, and Test Track. So at your advanced FastPass booking day, you can book 1 of those 3 rides, and then your other 2 FastPasses go to any of the other rides in Tier 2. This means that, no, you won't be able to make advanced FastPasses for both Soarin' and Frozen Ever After. You'll have to choose which one matters more to you. In Animal Kingdom, the Tier 1 rides are both of the rides in Pandora, Na'vi River Journey, and Flight of Passage. Similarly, you won't be able to book both of these using your advanced FastPasses. And then all of the other rides, attractions, and shows that offer FastPass are in Tier 2. And if your trip is March 4th, 2020 or later, Tier 1 FastPasses in Hollywood Studios is going to be Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, and Slinky Dog Dash. Rise of the Resistance in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge does not yet utilize the FastPass system. Instead, it uses boarding groups, which you will access via the app on the day that you're in the park. At some point in the future, it's relatively safe to assume that Rise of the Resistance in Galaxy's Edge will switch from boarding groups over to the FastPass Plus system, in which case the tiers are likely to change. Stay tuned for updates. 5. Using your FastPass once you're in the park is fairly simple. You will simply tap your Magic Band or your ticket to the Mickey Head turnstile at the FastPass entrance of the ride. You absolutely do not need a Magic Band to use FastPass Plus. For rides, your FastPass window will be 1 hour. For example, you might have a FastPass for Slinky Dog Dash from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. You can go ahead and use that anytime during that hour. Unofficially, you can enter the FastPass line about 5 minutes before your window and up to 15 minutes after, so 9:55 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. However, that's completely at the discretion of the cast member working the FastPass line. So if you want to be guaranteed your FastPass, simply enter during your allotted time. If you don't show up for your FastPass at all, then it's just gone. I've personally witnessed on many occasions folks showing up to the FastPass line hours after their window had expired. Typically by then a cast member can't do anything to help you. So in order to take advantage of the FastPass system, you do have to know what time your FastPasses are booked for. FastPasses for shows work slightly different than FastPasses for attractions because shows have set start times. For shows, your FastPass gets you select seating, although within that seating section, it still is first come, first serve for all the folks with FastPass. And those select seats open up at a certain time. For example, in my last trip to Walt Disney World, we booked a FastPass for the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular show. The FastPass opened up at 11:30 for a noon show. We showed up around 11:45 and were able to get through the FastPass line easily. We got seats in the FastPass section, but they definitely weren't the primo seats of the house, and that's on us for not showing up right on time. 6. Once you've used up your 3 FastPasses that you booked in advance, you're able to then select a 4th FastPass using the app on your phone or kiosk located in the park. This 4th FastPass does not have to be in the same park that your original 3 were in. And this FastPass can be either in Tier 1 or Tier 2 if you're at a park with a tiered system. Of course, this is all pending availability, so you certainly aren't ever guaranteed a 4th FastPass, and especially not for a big e-ticket attraction, a Tier 1 ride such as Flight of Passage. And then once you use your 4th FastPass, you can go ahead and book a 5th the same way, so on and so forth, just pending availability for the rest of the day. At some point, the parks do tend to run out of the number of FastPasses. There are only allotted so many per day, but until that happens, feel free to keep on using them. 7. It's best to manage your expectations with FastPass. While it's an absolutely amazing system, note that FastPass doesn't make the ride a walk-on. You're still going to go through some sort of line. I always budget at least 20 minutes for waiting in the FastPass line. Typically it doesn't take this long, but it's just good to manage your expectations going into things. And last, note that the FastPass line is a separate line, meaning that sometimes it'll skip some of the really amazingly themed and interactive parts of the queue. If you want to experience the full ride, which in many rides does include the queue in my opinion, you might want to go ahead and skip FastPass for that specific attraction. So there's your basic overview of the FastPass Plus system at Walt Disney World. It can be a little complicated, but it essentially boils down to the fact that for free in advance of your trip, you can reserve a sort of skip the line pass for 3 rides a day. There are a ton more advanced FastPass strategies, which we'll get into in future videos, but really if you know these things, you'll do just fine. Do you have any tips or tricks about booking or using your FastPasses? Let us know in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, I hope you'll consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel and turning the bell on to get notifications when new videos come. See you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.